Got a full tank of gas, gonna go for a ride. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. That's right, we've got a full tank of gas, so it's time to do a little cruising and shooting video, of course. So, as I was driving around looking at my 2021 Toyota Tacoma, I was thinking, what do I miss in this Tacoma that my 2020 TRD off-road, you know, the Voodoo blue unicorn that I had before, the things that it had. And there are a few things that I miss. First of all, obviously, the color. That Voodoo blue was striking, but it had its pluses and minuses. You know, you can't really go anywhere incognito when you're driving that truck because it's like a beaming light in the darkness. Everybody sees it. It's an eye catcher, and always made me a little leery to park it in parking lots on the rare occasion that I ever did, because I knew it would just draw attention, right? For the Tacoma enthusiasts out there. So I do miss that nonetheless, but I do love the magnetic gray metallic that is on this 2021 Toyota Tacoma. Next up, the radio knobs. It's a crazy thing, but when I got in the truck, when I shot that little intro there, you know, that 2-second thing, the radio came on and I had to turn it off, and I reached for the knob and I just remembered the bigger knobs that I had put on my 2020 Tacoma, and I thought, you know, I'm going to have to do something about that. I wasn't going to be honest, but I miss them. It's nice to have a bigger knob to grab. You know what I mean? So I'll be doing that, but I do miss it. Next up, I don't have it in this truck, and I didn't have it in the Voodoo blue truck, but push to start. You know that little button down there? It's a very polarizing feature. Some people like it, some people don't like it. Me personally, my other vehicles are all push start. So I just hop in, the key's in my pocket, I push the button and I go. I don't have to screw with sticking a key in or having the key stab me in the leg when I'm out walking around away from the truck. It's happened to me a few times. You know, I stick that key in my pocket and invariably or inevitably, it stabs me in the leg. I don't like that. Plus, it just takes up more room. You know, you have that key sticking out. Power up windows. This has power down. You know, you push the switch, the windows go down. Not a big deal. But now I have to hold the little button to put the window up. I don't dig that. Again, my Ram has it. My Jeep doesn't. I do have to hold it in my Jeep. That's kind of a drag. But I think that should be a standard feature in all trucks. I mean, these days, it's kind of like going back to the old crank windows. And I know a few of you like those and still have them, but I would hate to go back to the crank windows. I like the electronic stuff, and I do wish that this had auto up as well as the auto down that it currently does have. Next up, the stance. I do miss the stance of the Voodoo blue, the 2020 Tacoma I had. Although I have complained about it a few times, I'm sure, in the videos, and that it sat up a little bit in the front. But even so, that truck had an awesome look about it. It actually worked out to be a 3.5-2 lift. So it did have a little bit of a negative rake, I'll call it, in the back. Maybe it's a positive rake, I'm sorry, in the front. It didn't bother me that much. It was just one of those little kind of pet peevey things. Nothing that drove me crazy, but I do miss the way that truck looked in general with the stance that it had. But I am happy with the way this truck looks too, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I wish this truck looked like that. It's just something I miss from the other truck. Next up, the LED headlights. Now, it's a strange thing missing LED headlights because honestly, I don't do a lot of nighttime driving. So for me, the halogen, the old style headlights that I have right now are really just fine. But it's more of a perception for me, because I know what they looked like when I was going down the road, you know, with that little arc or area that went around the front that lit up, the bright white lights on the rare occasion that I did have them on. I know that I don't have it in this truck, and in the back of my mind, I can almost see the front of the truck when I'm out cruising around. It's a crazy thing, and as to what other people can see. And I do miss not having the LED lights for that reason. Now, I will say I did not put LED lights. Let's make sure I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I did not put LED lights inside this truck. I do not miss those. I found that the LED lights were too bright, particularly in the mirrors. They look good. They look great when they're on. You know, you have that white light underneath the covers. They look really nice. But from a functional standpoint, they are just too bright. They're blinding. You know, when you're driving around, if it's darker outside, maybe dusk, and you look into the mirror, it's not that I do it often. I mean, you know, fluffing my hair and checking my makeup and stuff. It's not that I do it often, but on the rare occasion that I did, it would be blinding to look into that bright light on the mirrors, and even turning on the front map lights. You know, that light is just so bright. And maybe it's just because I'm used to the old halogens. I mean, until I put those lights in my Tacomas, I never had LED lights on the interior of any vehicle. So I have many, many years of history with halogens, and I think I'm just used to it. I say that because I know there's a lot of people out there who really do like them, but not for me. It's just really not my thing. So I wouldn't go back to those. The last thing that I'll mention, and I'll probably take care of this soon, I've decided I am going to do it, and that is the cold air intake under the hood. And I know when you're cruising around, it's kind of like the LED front headlights, right? You can't see it, but I think it's just the perception again for me of knowing it's there. And then when I do lift the hood, because I do that rather frequently, it's not there. It's just your standard engine bay. Although I do have the wireless charger in there, so I guess I can look at that. But otherwise, I do miss not having that cold air intake in there. And I am going to do something with the exhaust. Speaking of cold air intake, I am going to do something with the exhaust as well. I'm kind of going back and forth whether I should just put another TRD exhaust on this truck or go with something a little bit louder. My fear in going with anything louder is it's going to be too loud. I heard from somebody just recently, told me that they have, I forget what flavor, but they have an aftermarket exhaust in their Tacoma, and if they drive for more than an hour, they have to wear earplugs because it's too loud. That is what I don't want. But nonetheless, I do miss not having that exhaust on this truck. I did have it on the Voodoo Blue 2020. Anyway, I just wanted to get on, kind of run over a few things, because people ask me occasionally, you know, do you miss the Voodoo Blue Tacoma? And yeah, there are things that I miss about it. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. I love this truck. I love the way it's set up right now. There's just a few things that I guess I would borrow from the 2020 to put in this truck. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know. If you've switched vehicles yourself recently, is there anything maybe that you had before that now you miss? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. RobMotive FST, all about full-size trucks. My latest acquisition being the Ram 1500. And RobMotive JT, all about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on your way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.